Hi everyone, my name's Catherine. I'm a crocheter from South London and welcome to my podcast. I haven't filmed a podcast for I think nearly a year now, so you'll have to forgive me if this one's a little bit rusty, but it's the school summer holidays at the moment here. My daughters have gone down to my parents for a few days, so it suddenly feels like the days are about twice as long as normal and there's a lot more time to get things done. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to film a podcast and show you some of the things that I've been getting on with recently that I've been working on. I haven't filmed for ages, so don't worry, I'm not going to show you absolutely everything that I've done since the last podcast. If you follow me elsewhere, then you'll probably have seen anyway my posts on Instagram of the things I've been getting up to. But if you don't follow me, then feel free, of course, to go and have a look and see some of the other projects that I've been working on since the last podcast, which was quite some time ago. So I've got 4 things to show you today. One is a finished item that I finished couple of weeks ago, I think, and 2 projects which are on the go but very nearly finished and I hope to finish them soon. One project which is the one I've started most recently. So I'll start off with the finished project and see what you think of that. So this project is a baby blanket. I'll hold it up so you can have a look and then I'll tell you a bit more about it. Just making sure I'm getting it around the right way. So here it is. Ta-da! It's hard to fit it all in at once. I need to move back, but obviously I can't because the bookcase is behind me. So there you go. So you can see it's got 2 coloured sections at either end and then a plain but textured part in the middle. This project was a collaboration with Hobby Yarns, which are, if you haven't heard of them, they're Danish, I'm pretty sure. Well, they might be Dutch, I'll have to check. I'm pretty sure they're Danish yarn company. And they asked if I'd like to take part in their Hobby Junior Challenge, which was a challenge during July to create an item suitable for a child or a baby with a sort of an autumn theme, or that could be used in autumn. And they offered a selection of their yarns that we could choose from to take part in the challenge, and there were some really beautiful options to choose from. I went for their acacia yarn, which it's a DK weight yarn and it's a cotton acrylic blend, and it came in lots of lovely sort of soft dusky colours, which I thought was really good selection for a child or a baby. And also it had some quite nice autumny colours as well, which are the ones that I went for in this blanket. So the main colour, I can't remember what any of them are called, I'm afraid, but I will post the details if you're interested. But the main colour obviously is this blue, and then I also got a sort of a saffrony mustardy yellow, dark olivey green, a sort of slightly rusty terracotta-y colour, and this lighter blue sort of, I think it looks more like a light blue here, but I think in other lights it looks more of a duck eggy, slightly greeny colour. So those were the colours that I chose, and obviously I didn't know what the yarn felt like because I hadn't used it before, but it is really, really soft and smooth, and really nice yarn to work with, nice cotton acrylic blend, and the whole blanket, feeling it now, it's really smooth. I think it'd be a really nice one to snuggle under. So there's a pattern that I've made a couple of times before, which is the Bertie blanket pattern, which is a pattern from a designer. She goes under the name of Little Doolally, and I really like that pattern. After having made it, I discovered I think it's actually quite a well-known stitch called, I think, the millstone stitch, but I still follow her pattern to make it because it's very helpful. Sets out obviously the starting chain and so on, and I think there's different variations on it as well. So I used the Bertie blanket pattern to do this colourful part, but in the original Bertie pattern, each line or each stripe of ovals is all the same colour, but I decided to alternate the colours across in each line. So I just used sort of standard tapestry crochet to do that. So I crocheted over the yarn that wasn't being used each time. So I'll show you the back as well. So there's no ends hanging out or anything because it's tapestry crochet. So I had 4 lines of the Bertie blanket pattern, and then I continued it in a solid colour, but in order to get the sort of texture of the pattern to show up a bit more, I just did it in the, I think, every other line in the, every other row in the back loops only, so that you can see it there. It just helps the pattern to stand out a bit more, I think, than if I'd done it in the front loops. And then finished it off with 4 more rows of the colourful Bertie pattern at the end. And then for the border, it's just a few rounds of moss stitch. I think first of all I did a round or 2 of just plain double crochet, and then 3 rounds of moss stitch to finish it off. So that was my Hobby Junior Challenge, which I did in July, which I'm really pleased with, and I'm looking forward to giving this now to the little baby that I was making it for. So that's my finished item, and I made quite a lot of this. We were on holiday earlier in July. The girls broke up around the end of the first week of July from school, and we went off to Devon for a week. So I made most of this really while we were on holiday in Devon, which was really nice. It was a nice size project to have on the go there, a baby blanket, because it's quite small, and so it's quite satisfying to get it done then. And it was so good to get away. We didn't get away at all last summer with all the COVID restrictions and everything going on. So this is the first time we'd been away on a family holiday for ages, and it was just so nice to have a change of scene and get away. We were really lucky with the weather, had some lovely days at the beach, cycling in the forests as well. It was just a really nice time. And my girls are, the oldest one is 10, nearly 11 now, and the youngest one is 7. And so it's obviously like been 2 years since our last family summer holiday when they were 8 and 5, and you sort of don't realise it at the time, but they're so much more independent now, and it just felt like such a more relaxed summer holiday. They didn't need looking after so much. It was a really nice time for us all to get away again. So that was lovely. And then I came home with a finished blanket as well, which was brilliant. What shall I show you next? I've got them all next to me here, just having a look. I'll show you this one next. So, hang on a sec. This, I've got yarns dropping off it all over the place. Oh, there we go. So this is the Graphite Mandala. It's nearly finished. I've got about, I think, 5 more rounds to go. It's quite big, as you can see. And this, I'll sort of move it across and hide behind it for a moment and then bring it back down so I can talk to you, so you can get a bit of an idea of the size there. So this is the Graphite Mandala, and it is a pattern from Lilla Bjorn Crochets, and her pattern calls for, I think, a 4-ply yarn, but I wanted to make it as a rug, so I've gone for an Aran yarn. It's an 100% cotton Aran yarn. It is Epic from Yarn and Colours. So I've got a cream, or sort of an off-white, It's not really a yellowy cream, and the other one's on the floor somewhere. This is a navy, cream and navy, and it uses a technique which was completely new to me, and I think it's a type of brioche crochet, or brioche style crochet, I think she calls it. And I read a tutorial on her blog about it recently, and I think she explains she's got 2 different ways of doing it. So this is one of those ways, and if I show you the back, you can see each round, you do a round, you alternate, apart from where you've got a bit of solid colour, you alternate, you do a round of one colour and then a round of the next colour. So the yarns, if you're interested, this is where the bit where the yarns, where is it? Here, finish, you can't really see, but you, along this part here, you just carry the yarn up the back over the last yarn, over the last round, to the round where you need it. So you alternate the rounds in one colour and then in another colour, and you work up the pattern. So most of this, or a lot of the stitches, are double crochet stitches, which you do in the back loops only. And then to make the pattern, the parts that sort of then stay visible, they're either treble or sometimes double treble crochet, and you do them as a front post stitch round a previous stitch of that colour, or as in the remaining front loop from a stitch. So you work over the previous round to build up the pattern as you go, and it's quite addictive really, but obviously each round takes longer and longer as you go, and each round is different as well, and it looks quite complicated, but when you're actually working on a particular round, I found that you do learn the repetition. Obviously it's repeated all the way around, and after a few stitches you can sort of memorize the pattern for that round, and then off you go, and you can kind of finish off the round quite sort of mindfully without too much concentration until you start the next round. So this is, at the moment, I'm doing my final round in cream. This will be the last cream round, and then the last few rounds of the mandala are all just in the navy blue to finish it off. So when it's done, I will obviously take some photos of it, and if you want to see them, they'll be on Instagram, and I'm looking forward to using this. My plan, I'll see how it looks, but my plan is to have this next to my bed in my bedroom, to use as a rug. So I'm really pleased with how that turned out, and it's really fun new technique to use as well, and sort of given me some ideas for techniques that I might use in my own patterns as well. So I'm really pleased I've made this, and I've learned something new and created something that I'm gonna hopefully enjoy in my bedroom as well. So yeah, that was my second thing to show you. So if you're keeping count, 2 more to go. Right, next is another slightly half new technique, let's say, wrong bag, which is mosaic crochet. And I have done mosaic crochet before. I've made the Neon Fizz Throw by Esme Crick, but there's more than one way of doing mosaic crochet, and this is a different way of doing mosaic crochet to the way in which the Neon Fizz Throw was made. Same sort of principles, but whereas if you know anything about neon crochet, about mosaic crocheting, this might make more sense to you than if you don't. But in the Neon Fizz, you go sort of there and back. You use 2 colours, and it's made in rows, and you go there and back in one colour, and then you change and you do the next 2 rows in the next colour, and then you bring it up. So you have up one side of your blanket, you carry the yarns up 2 rows at a time. This pattern, which I haven't told you what it is yet, have I? Or shown it to you. This is the Connected Cushion by Martin up north. It's not yet a cushion, but that is going to be the front of it, it's got a border to go around it, which is why, one of the reasons why it's not yet a cushion. This is also mosaic crochet, but you work it, apart from the very first few rows, all of the pattern part, it's made also from corner to corner, which is quite a fun way of doing it. So the rows get longer and longer and longer until you get halfway, and then they get shorter and shorter again. But so the first few rows in this tiny bit, you go there and back, and then as soon as the pattern starts, you just work on the front side only. So you do one row in one colour, cut the yarn, then you just start the next row in the next colour. So you're always starting them from the same end, and you cut the yarn at the end of each row. Then, giving you a lot of detail here, when you finish it, you tie, the instructions say to tie the yarn along each edge in pairs, and then the border that's going to go around it is then going to crochet over all of these ends, so you don't have to weave them in, which is a bit of a relief really. So I've made the whole of the front, which it's this amazing connected pattern. You can obviously see clearly why it's called the connected cushion. I made this, the yarn, it's Shapey's Katona, which is a cotton yarn, cotton 4-ply yarn. And then I think the way Martin did it was he might have sewed it onto a cushion, but I don't really do much sewing apart from name labels on the girls' school uniform. So I decided to crochet the back. So I just made this in DC stitches, backwards and forwards, using up the lime and the bluey green from the front of the cushion, but I didn't have quite enough, so I also used some navy, which I had left over from my Clarissa blanket, to make the back. So that's the back of the cushion. It's curling up a bit at the moment, but I think it'll all be pulled out when I turn it into the cushion cover. And so all that's left now is to make the border for each of them, the front and the back, and then to crochet them together. And I've got a cushion pad for it. I'm so pleased I didn't buy it before I started, because I didn't check my tension at all when I started this project. And I think it's, and I can't remember the size the cushion's supposed to be, but I'm sure it's not as big as mine, because this is actually really big, and I've ended up buying a 70cm square cushion pad for the cushion. So it's going to be a really massive cushion, and it'll probably have to live on the floor somewhere, but I think it'll still be really nice. It's quite good fun to have massive cushions about the place sometimes, isn't it? So excited to finish this one off. The border, by the way, if you're interested, is going to be in the navy colour for both the front and the back. I had to buy a bit more of the navy to be able to finish it off, because I've run out of both of these main colours now. But yeah, hopefully that one won't take me too long to finish off either. Both of those are really close. I was hoping to finish one of those before I started another project, but I'm sure you know how it is. I couldn't resist, and I did start a new project, and I've had this yarn for it for probably not that long, but it's felt like a while. So I've been itching to start it, and I just couldn't resist it any longer. So last week I did, and this is an idea I've had in my head for a shawl for a little while, and it's going to be, I'll show you how much I've got done so far. It's only this big at the moment, obviously not quite full size yet. It's going to be a shawl. It's going to be plain green, here's the yarn, and then I've got plans for a patterned edge, using one of the new techniques to me that I've learnt in the Graphite Mandala blanket that I just rug that I just showed you. that's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes when I get there. But I've got, for that patterned part, I've got two of these mini skeins of a sort of limey, olivey, light olivey green, which I think will contrast quite nicely with the dark green. Now the reason I've had this yarn for a little while, I wouldn't have bought it so sort of prematurely, but the reason I did was because I actually, most of my yarn I buy online, because we don't have, it closed down recently actually, my local yarn shop, and there's a few a bit further away but not really local to me, but I was lucky enough in, I think it was June, but it might have been end of May, I can't remember now, on a very wet day to go to the Unravel festival in Farnham with my friend Marissa, and actually buy this yarn in person, which was great because then you could obviously hold up the yarns together and find the right, see how they look and find the right combination, which is so much easier than buying it online. So this yarn is from Riverknit, who are at the yarn festival, and it is 4-ply, 100% wool. It's their, I don't know how you pronounce it, Neen, probably Neen, but it might be Nene or something like that, Neen range, and the green is called Tannenbaum, the dark green, the main colour, and the light one, I don't have, no, I don't have a thing for that, so I'm not sure what this one's called, but it's the same range, Neen, and it's obviously a lighter colour. So yeah, it was a very, very wet day, but it was wonderful to be able to get out. It was the first time I've ever been to a yarn festival, so it was special for that reason. I also got to go with my friend Marissa, who I met via Instagram. She lives not far from me, so that was really nice to be able to go with her. I've only met her in person, I think once before, last summer, but that was lovely. And also with all the, so many things being cancelled over the last year, it was so special to be able to go out somewhere with real people and shop and touch things and not just be buying things online, and actually go to an event. So that was a really lovely day out. I've got something else here that I got while I was there, which is this new project bag, which was from Botanic Yarns. So yeah, before I went, I had to think about what I wanted to get. Project bag was one of the things, and also some yarn to make this shawl that I've started. So yeah, it's coming along. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, but hopefully not too long, because it's not going to be massive. And watch this space for the pattern round the edge, as they say. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got this far, that's all I've got to show you today. I didn't want to bring too much along, and totally out of practice of these things, so I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to show you everything either, but hopefully it's been interesting. It's been lovely chatting and sharing these things with you, and hopefully it won't be so long until the next podcast. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Bye.